Under the warm shop light, James's hand hovered over a wrapped painting, then froze. Because one polite meeting with James's father could cost Hill Fruits its hard-won peace. Hours earlier, he sat in public, calm on the outside, while control came dressed as help, money, connections, a request to keep the shop quiet, a reminder of James's mother spoken like a leash. James didn't raise his voice. He thanked him, set boundaries, and walked away tired but clean, already choosing the truth his father couldn't buy. If you've ever fought for ordinary peace, stay with me. To understand how he got there, we have to go back today. Morning at Hill Fruits started small and warm. Oatmeal bubbled on the stove. Nye banged a spoon on her cup like a tiny drum. Anna stood straight at the table, counting care cards like kindness needed proof. "Mom," Anna said, holding one up. "This one says, 'May your day feel lighter.' That's my best sentence." Diep smoothed Anna's hair. "It is your best sentence, and today we're sending it out." James washed fruit at the sink. Sleeves rolled, face calm in a way that made Diep watch him. He wasn't rushing. He wasn't hiding. He was present, and that felt like a promise. "Eat first, little boss," James told Nye, kissing her cheek. "Then we play." Diep glanced at the small notebook of rules in the drawer and thought, today decides a lot. They opened Hill Fruits the way they always did now. Lights on, chalkboard out, oranges stacked, and the care card box set by the jar of customer notes. The bell above the door jingled all morning. Luan arrived with crates and a grin that was half joke, half guard. "Same plan?" he asked James softly. "Same plan," James said. Public, short. Officer Thu passed once, slow and steady, like a heartbeat you could trust. Diep felt her shoulders drop a little. An older woman picked a care card and read it twice. "This one, it helped," she whispered. Anna beamed. "That's my best sentence." Coins clinked. A pair rolled and thumped the counter. Outside, a resort shuttle idled at the corner, and Diep wondered who was watching their quiet shop. At noon, they pulled the shutter halfway for their short break and walked home with the kids. Rice steamed. Soup smelled like ginger and green onion. Nye kicked her feet and demanded more, like she owned the kitchen. James made airplane sounds with the spoon until she laughed and opened her mouth. Diep watched him and felt the same steady need. Keep this safe. When Anna ran outside to check the oranges, James came back with her on his shoulders. He looked at Diep, serious but calm. "I'm going now." "To meet him," Diep said. James nodded. Polite, short, public. Diep slid the notebook across the table. No signing, no private rides. Exit plan. James covered her hand. "I'll be back before dinner." His voice didn't shake. The afternoon stayed bright, which almost felt unfair. Diep reopened Hill Fruits and kept moving. Waiting fruit, wiping the counter, smiling at talk about weather and grandkids. She kept checking the road anyway. A woman dropped a note in the jar. "Your shop feels like a blessing." Another wrote, "Don't let anyone dim you." Diep read them fast and tucked them back like small shields. At home, Anna sent a drawing by phone. 4 oranges under a glowing shop light, 2 big and 2 small. Underneath, she wrote, "We are brave oranges." Diep laughed, and tears rose in the best way. Then James called. His voice was quiet and controlled. "I'm done." Diep swallowed. "Are you okay?" "I'm okay," he said. "I'm coming home." And Diep didn't ask more in public. James came straight into the shop, stopping close behind the counter where Diep stood. He didn't hug her in front of customers. He leaned in and spoke low. He talked like he was doing me a favor. Diep's hands stilled on the scale. What did he want? Control, James said. Wrapped in politeness, James told her the offer. Money, connections, security. Then the request that stung. Keep Hill Fruits quiet. No attention, no expansion, no resort contracts. So he wants you to shrink us, Diep said, jaw tight. James nodded. Slow surrender. And you said? I said thank you for your concern. I said my family is safe. I said I'm building something honest. And I said I won't discuss Diep like she's a project. Diep felt pride hit like heat, then the chill behind it. Did he threaten you? Not directly, James said. And that answer sat heavy. He just mentioned my mother in a way that sounded like a reminder. Diep held still, hearing the shape of that control without a single shouted word. They still went home at dusk, because children don't wait for adult fear. Nye reached for James the second he stepped inside, and he lifted her like she was a life ring. They feed me, she ordered. Yes, ma'am, James said, making airplane noises again. Anna sat on the mat and read care cards out loud like she was hosting a show. 5 stars, James declared, clapping for her. Best oranges, best kindness. Anna giggled so hard she tipped over. Diep listened to their small sounds. Spoons, laughter, the soft hum of the fridge. Ordinary joy stitched her nerves back together. But one question kept tapping. What comes next? Folks, my heart is pounding. If this story feels real to you, please subscribe. Because what happens next changed everything. Diep stared at the phone on the table. Good. Bring the painting next time, come alone. James didn't snatch it. He turned the screen face down, like closing a door without slamming it. No, Diep said, we don't do alone. James's fingers brushed the wrapped canvas. The paper whispered, dry and thin. He wants a room where he can twist words. Diep pulled out their small notebook of rules. Pencil marks, smudged corners, and one clear line. Exit plan. Public place, daytime. Luan nearby. Officer Thu nearby. James nodded. And my mother doesn't stay in his pocket. Text him, Diep said, steady. Short, clean. James typed, noon tomorrow, public, I'm not alone. He set the phone down. If he refuses, that tells us what he wants. Diep covered his hand. Then we keep building anyway. And the painting waited, quiet as a promise. Morning brought the shop shutters squeak and the smell of oranges warming under the light. Nye sat on a stool, kicking her feet, watching James stack fruit like it was a game. "We did," Anna said, sliding a care card forward. James cleared his throat. "May your day feel lighter." Anna smiled wide. "That's my best sentence." Diep watched James glance at his phone. "He answered?" "He did," James said. "Noon. The cafe by the courthouse." Diep felt her stomach tighten, but she kept her voice calm. Public is public. Luan carried in crates, eyes sharp under his grin. "My lunch happens to be at that cafe," he said. Officer Thu passed outside, slow and steady, not stopping, just seen. James leaned close to Diep. "After this, I call my mother." Diep nodded. "Today, we cut the leash." Anna dropped a new card into the box. "Brave can be quiet too." In the back room, the air smelled like cardboard and ripe pears. James dialed his mother and waited, jaw tight but voice gentle. "Mom," he said, "I met him yesterday." Diep stood near the door, listening without stepping into the call. James swallowed. "No, I'm not signing anything. No, I'm not coming alone, and no, he doesn't get to speak through you." He paused, eyes closing for one long breath. "You can call me directly, anytime. I'll come to you in daylight, with people around, the way it should have always been." The voice on the other end was soft, shaky. James's shoulders lowered. "Thank you," he said. "I'm building a family. I'm not hiding it." When he hung up, he rubbed his eyes like a tired man learning a new habit. Diep handed him warm water. "You did good," James nodded once. "Now I meet him clean." And this time, fear didn't get the driver's seat. At noon, the cafe smelled like coffee and toasted bread. James chose a window table. Diep sat beside him, close enough that no one could wedge in. Luan sat at the counter, phone out. Officer Thu walked past outside, steady as a clock. His father arrived in a neat coat and a neat smile. His eyes flicked to Diep, then away. "You brought company," his father said. "I brought my life," James replied. "Sit or don't." His father sat. "You could make this easy. Quiet shop, quiet choices." James set the wrapped painting on the table. "This stays with me," he said. "So does my family." "You're emotional," his father said. "I'm clear," James said. "Respect us or step back." His father stood. "We'll talk again." "Only if you can talk like an adult," James said. And the bell over the cafe door jingled on a clean goodbye. Back at Hill Fruits, sunlight slanted across the counter and made the oranges shine. Diep wiped the scale, letting work keep her steady. James leaned close. He texted. Diep didn't reach for the phone yet. "Read it." James's voice stayed calm. He said, "You'll regret embarrassing me." Diep felt cold move through her ribs, then passed it out with a slow breath. "That's not power," she said. "That's pride." Luan hovered by the doorway. "Want me here tonight?" "We keep normal," James answered. "We keep notes." Officer Thu paused at the entrance, just long enough to be heard. "Save every message," he said. Write down dates and times. James nodded. We will. Diep opened the care card jar and pulled one without thinking. Hold your ground gently. She placed it by the register like a small shield, and when the bell chimed again, Diep smiled on purpose. The next 2 days were busy in the plane. Good way. Bags rustling, coins clinking, and Anna's pencil scratching as she made new care cards at the corner of the counter. Nye marched around with a tiny broom, sweeping nothing with great authority. Clean, she announced. James worked beside Diep, present, but his eyes kept measuring the road. Diep saw that and didn't shame him for it. A resort contract sat folded in the drawer, waiting. James touched it, then looked at Diep. He wanted us quiet. Diep folded a paper bag and met his gaze. So we grow honest, not loud. James picked up a pen and wrote one care card himself. Peace doesn't mean shrinking. He slid it into the box, then signed the contract with a steady hand. Diep exhaled like she'd been holding air all week. And the shop light kept glowing, steady and unbought. That night, the kids fell asleep with soup warming their bellies. Anna hugged her notebook tight. Nye's spoon sat sticky with dried oatmeal, a tiny flag of mourning. Diep and James hung the painting by the kitchen window. The tape peeled with a soft rip. James unwrapped it slowly, like a man learning to be gentle with his own history. 4 oranges stood under the shop light, too big, too small, pressed close. Underneath them, we are brave oranges. Diep laughed, and James's eyes went wet. He can keep his money, James said. My mother knows she can call me and we won't hide. Diep rested her head on his shoulder, listening to the fridge hum. I've lived long enough to know control loves silence, and love chooses truth. When people hold their ground without turning hard, they don't just survive, they grow. And sometimes the bravest thing is hanging your hope where everyone can see it and letting peace feel earned.